yourself.
Hey everybody, it's another episode of Go Flix Yourself. My name is Ben Conowitz, and with me as always is the Squidward of my SpongeBob, Bradford Oman.
Hey, that's me. Is that Squidward? I don't know. I don't watch SpongeBob very much.
Sounds like an old lady.
I'm Squidward.
That's actually better. That's better. Which makes, you know what? You can be my Patrick Star any day, Nate. Nate Laux.
Hello. I don't really.
Yeah, see, I should have been Patrick.
Yeah, you could have done.
Hi, SpongeBob.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Thank you.
Can you do a Squidward?
No.
Okay, well then, and our Mr. Krabs special guest, Jeff Spanke. Hey, Jeff.
Oh, hey, everybody. That's my.
It's good, Mr. Krabs.
It's a very good Mr. Krabs impression.
Thank you.
Do you want some Krabby Patties? That's what.
Oh, me money.
Is that it?
Oh, this is Mr. Krabs.
Okay.
I don't know. That's whatever. It got real bad real
People
quick.
haven't turned off the podcast yet.
This is how we start the show.
This is how we start the show.
Jeff Spanke is my friend. This is the first time he's ever been on the podcast. He's a friend from college.
How do you know Jeff?
I met him at Purdue University. We both attended.
Any mutual friends or?
Yeah, so I knew his friend named Kevin.
Okay.
And he introduced me to Jeff, and then I became friends with Jeff, and now I'm friends with both Jeff and Kevin.
Do you ever call him Kev or Kevy?
Some definitely never Kevy, because that's fucking weird.
You ever call Jeff J?
No, I call him
He just
Jeffy
usually
though.
calls me Jeff.
I call him Jeffy.
Do you ever call him El Jefe?
Do you really call him Jeffy?
No.
What? I thought
Jeff, how you doing, buddy?
I'm fine, man. How are you, Braddy?
Hey,
Good.
Can we talk to you, Jeff, about something?
Oh boy.
Has Brad always been this irritable and angry?
Oh no. He used to be a lot better. So I think it's gone downhill.
I heard a lot more bitter. That's what I heard. He used to be a lot more bitter. No, that makes sense.
Batter.
He used to be more bitter. He used to be better at being bitter.
Okay.
And now he's
situation.
now he's the jocular bearded fellow that we're seeing today.
Banana, bad to the bone. Brad to the bone.
See, Jeff, you should really be here in person just to soak in all this horribleness.
Oh, trust
Do
me.
you guys just want to come over to my house? and
Yes.
hang
You know
out?
what?
Oh, yeah.
Let's take
Can
a
we
pause.
come
We'll be there in 3 hours.
Should we come without Brad, though?
Yeah, Brad. Why don't you stay there and just clean up, and then
Just clean up.
Let's clean up a little.
So this is a fucking movie podcast, by the
Yeah.
way. We talk. You know what? We're going to talk trailers. We're going to talk
The last movie
we saw.
And we're
We're going to play a game.
Nope, not this time. We have a.
We're going to play a game.
Who made the game?
I'll make up a game right now because we don't do this episode. We don't play game. We don't. Oh, you're making me so frustrated.
Maybe we'll play a game,
If you
a
guys
round of Last
remember
Man
one
Standing.
of my first episodes, I got yelled at for suggesting we don't play a game.
Exactly. And then
But
Brad,
but that was
Brad
before.
yelled at me so badly.
But that was before-
I cried for hours afterwards.
That was before you proposed the idea of having a fun conversation at the end of the show, like we did with Brett Goldstein's podcast.
I do enjoy that.
And I heard from some people, specifically friend of the podcast, Charlie Young, that he really enjoyed that more than the game.
Jeff, the way that it works, Jeff, is if you invite the guest on, then you also write the game. And so since you were invited by Brad, we assumed that he would write the game. And I was like, hey, what game did you write? And he goes, I didn't do that.
Yeah, and what they assumed was that I would do my job.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing all the tech stuff. Like, I was at Ben's house earlier trying to get all this stuff going.
I was traveling for the show.
I was recording another podcast.
Oh, come on. Were you?
I
was just told there'd be a game.
I did tell him that we do play games. So we'll
come up with
we'll do Run Last Man Standing.
We play
Now,
games
Jeff,
with hearts.
Jeff would be very good at the games. Jeff, you are what I would call a movie buff, even though in our recent conversation we had, I heard that you haven't watched a lot of movies recently.
Is it because do you have kids, Jeff?
To you, I have a kid.
Yeah.
And he takes a tremendous amount of time.
Yep.
And so, I've seen a lot of the movies and I've listened to you boys, do your podcast. And I got to admit, I'm playing right there with you. I know a lot of the movies and the stories, but no, Brad, I don't watch every movie out.
Well, I don't watch every movie out.
Yeah, but you judge people as if you do.
No, I judge you. Just
Thank
because
you guys. Oh my God, it feels so good to be here. Yes, he does, doesn't he?
It's very pretentious. It is very. It's very. It's overbearing and pretentious.
Nicole Kidman's in that. Yeah, no. Did I tell you the time I interviewed her?
I haven't interviewed Nicole Kidman. I would love to.
Jeff, a little inside baseball here today. Yeah. I literally texted Brad and Nate today, and I said, "Oh, I didn't know that Robin from Stranger Things was Ethan Hawke's daughter." And Brad didn't say something like, "Oh, that's crazy, you didn't know that." He just instead replied, "Also, by the way," and he pushed his glasses up and he said, "It's Uma Thurman's daughter, and she looks more like her anyway." So it was he put me in my place. He got to feel good about himself for a minute. That's basically what happens anytime I text anything what I think is fun and novel.
I definitely said it like that and didn't say it as, "Oh, here's another fun fact for you."
So here's an actual fun fact. This is not about me, but a kid I went to middle school with. I won't say his first name, but his last name was Hawk. And in 7th grade, he left for a week to go to a wedding. And we were like, cool, dude, have fun at your wedding. And he comes back. He's Ethan Hawke's cousin. He went to Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman's wedding.
Wait, really?
That's a true story. That is a true story.
That's crazy. I can't believe you never told me that before.
Why would he tell you that?
I told you all the time. You just don't listen.
No, that's not even true.
The 17th time he's told that story.
You know what? I'm not sure I want Jeff on the podcast anymore. I was really excited about it at first, but now it's going
Before
the
we
opposite
go
way.
any further, though, Jeff, we do have a very important thing. We always forget about this. We have a sponsor on the show. And we need it. They literally write us a check every week, and we got it this week. You know, who gave us money, Brad?
This week's a big one, guys. This is a rare one that I reached into. You know, the pop vault, if you will.
Did you go back to Rocket Fizz?
I went back to Rocket Fizz. But I don't have to go back to Rocket Fizz because we have a Rocket Fizz in Valparaiso now.
Yeah, okay.
And so I went to the new Rocket Fizz, and I got us, Melba's Fixins Strawberries and Cream Soda.
What?
Inspired by strawberries and cream, the dessert.
Did you say Melba's Fixins?
Melba's Fixins is the name of this brand of soda.
Is this another one of Brittany's mom's aunt's best friends?
You would think so, because Melba is a very Utah name. But no, this is Melba's Fixins Strawberries and Cream Soda. Let me just give it a little sip here.
No, don't sip into the microphone, please. It's not even a sip. What are you doing? What was
that? Was a chug-a-lug. You know what?
That was like you were playing a theremin. What just happened there?
So, theremin's like the carousel whistle, right? That's the theremin. Woo, oh, you put your hand in it? Yeah, okay. I was talking about the slide whistle.
That's why I said it.
Anyway, strawberries and cream soda. So you know when you get the artificial strawberry juice and chunks to make strawberry shortcake yourself?
No.
You don't?
Jeff, you want to chime in on that?
No, that doesn't sound like
a pouch of strawberry chunks and juice.
How did you take one of my favorite foods and just make it disgusting?
Strawberries and cream is one of your favorite foods.
Strawberry. I love strawberries.
What? Who the hell sits in? Strawberries are one of my favorite foods.
It is. Strawberries with some honey on them? Oh my god.
The strawberries and cream soda is fine.
Moving on.
So anyway, thanks for your fucking money, Melba.
Melba.
Get it right. She's never going to give us money.
She's got a name.
Jeff, real quick, what's the last movie that you saw, buddy? It doesn't have to be in the theater. Just the last one that you saw, maybe with the kid, the Netflix, the whatever. By the way, how old is your child?
So it's a well, that's not a tough question. He's 11. So I'm at this point as a parent where I'm trying to expose him to all the movies that I used to watch when I was a kid. So I've actually been doing a lot of movies that I haven't seen in a while, and I'm rewatching them again. So we can talk about that because to Brad's point, I don't get to see a lot of new movies. So we watched Minority Report recently. Tim Burton's Big Fish recently. And I'd love to talk about all those. The most recent movie I've seen for the first time was I watched 13 Lives directed by Ron Howard, his new movie. And the reason we watched that is because when Cole, my son, and I went to go see the new Thor movie, that was actually one of the trailers we saw. And I remember sitting in the theaters being like, that looks really good. And I appreciate Ron Howard's work. So my wife and I, a few weeks ago, we sat down and watched 13 Lives. So that's the most recent movie I've seen that's new.
And what's 13 Lives about again?
So it's the true story of the 13 members of the Thailand soccer team or football team that gets stuck in a cave for a number of days because of an unseasonal monsoon. And it's the story of the international effort to rescue these 13 people from a cave.
Okay, so it's not a prequel of 13 Ghosts.
No.
Thankfully.
No, or 13 days later.
Or 13 going on 30.
Or 13. No.
Or 13 again.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to say. That's
correct.
Movie.
Or 13 hours.
13 again.
The secret lives of the guys in the cave.
Good.
Is there a 13th floor?
There is.
That's
13th floor.
13th floor. Yeah.
13th floor.
Now,
right.
How was this? Because I honestly haven't gone out of my way to watch it because I felt like just knowing what the movie was about, I've seen this movie before. So is it?
So
how is it?
Okay. Well, so you've seen this movie before. You mean probably like you've seen
like a paint by numbers
people
rescue.
in peril.
Yeah. People in peril, survival drama.
Right. Well,
we're gonna rescue.
We've all seen Vertical Limit. Okay.
Right. Perfect example.
Thank you.
Of a fine survival drama.
Well, and the move right now that people make is like it's less about the rescue itself and more about we're going to cut away every 5 seconds to do like a backstory of these characters because we really want to learn.
And that is weird that they had to do that 13 times.
It was a 3.5 hour movie. It was excruciating. Well, so I know we're going to talk about trailers a little on, but when I saw this trailer, I thought it was cut in a really interesting way. It made me think it was less about these kids. And even less about the rescuers and more just about the process itself. So I did some digging on kind of the production of it, and I looked at Ron Howard's body of work, and I'm like, you know what? I trust Obie Taylor. I think he's going to do a good job here. And really, the movie was much less about, to Brad's question, it was so much less about the human interest story and really all about the task itself. So the comparison I would give is like, if you've seen Apollo 13. There's the scene in Apollo 13 where they have to make the filter to put the cartridge in the round hole. And that scene's probably like 45 total seconds. Like if you really boil down the movie, it's probably like 45 seconds. That scene stretched out over 2.5 hours is 13 lives. So we don't care about these kids.
Did that make it good?
It did, because I'm not in a mood right now where I want to be forced to care about kids in a cave.
He's got one kid, and that's enough. He doesn't need to care about 12 more.
As someone with no kids, I get it, man. That's gotta be a lot.
And for real, I think it's a cheap move. I think it's low hanging fruit. I think it's super easy to do. And he did not do that at all. So we didn't know these kids' names. We didn't know their backstory. It was 13 people in a cave, and even the people who went in to rescue him, Viggo Mortensen spearheads this campaign, and then Colin Farrell's in it as well. So we have some big names, but even that, we don't know their backstory. We don't know their history.
So it is very much a movie about the process
and the moment.
It's about overcoming adversity through smarts and science and ingenuity, and that really appealed to me. It was a refreshingly deliberate movie compared to a lot of garbage out there.
How much Elon Musk was in the film?
That's what I was going to wonder. Who plays him?
Who plays Elon Musk?
He played himself, which I thought was an interesting casting choice.
After SNL, he said, "I can do anything."
He did, and the fact that he was in every scene for really no reason, because he was not in Thailand at the time. He had nothing to do it, so they kind of altered history a little bit, but it actually worked. So,
at any point, is there somebody who says, "How can I reach these kids?"
Oh no,
no.
No.
Got him.
So the film does get a great rating. Like, it has a good Rotten Tomato score. Critics liked it, the movie decently. I want to push back a little bit though on your guys' like paint by numbers thing, because sometimes I'm okay with paint by numbers movies.
Oh, for sure.
Like that. Like I know how the story ends because I remember the history of the story, right? So you know what's going to work out and what's not. But I'm okay to go through the process.
Yeah, but you didn't like Titanic for that exact reason. Like, I know how it ends. The boat sinks.
No. Titanic wasn't a real story, though. Like, it wasn't a real story. So.
Nate is a conspiracy theorist and doesn't believe Titanic happened. So
he's like, how does a boat sink with a flat Earth?
Icebergs don't met steel ships.
Jesus Christ!
3.5 hours. You don't need a 3.5 hour movie.
But to be honest with you, that was the toughest question going into it, because it's not only what happens, there's really nothing to it. I mean, with the Titanic, you have the at least possibility of like visual spectacles in this great story. These are kids in a cave, and divers went in and got them. Like that's what happened. So how do you make a movie out of that? And I think it's just a testament to direction and filming. I appreciate it because it was a film that I don't think it's made enough, where the success is in how it was made and not the story they were telling.
That's fair.
And I just appreciated that.
All right. So Jeff says Ron Howard, bad storyteller.
No.
What?
I'm just joking. It's a joke. That was a joke, Brad.
I haven't seen a lot of Viggo Mortensen lately. Like, I don't remember a lot of films that he's been in.
What? Have you seen A History of Violence?
Oh,
no.
Green Book.
Green Book, honestly, yeah, that's
Best Picture winning Green Book.
We all say easy on that.
I'm sorry. Best Picture is a prestige award, and they wouldn't give it to it if it did. I'm just kidding. Green Book.
You couldn't go further in that.
No. I'm sorry. I can't. I can only lie so much any given day. But no, I mean, this is. I guess this isn't super recent, but like, there's The Road. There's Gosh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like
he's got that pretty low key.
Like, yeah, he's not putting them out like Samuel L. Jackson is.
Right.
You know.
No, but I do like that. Basically, if I'm paraphrasing Jeff, Ron Howard is a talented enough filmmaker to make it about how the sausage is made, and you're still really engaged in the film.
Well, and if you look at, I think that's right. And if you look at the movies that he's made, especially in the last 15 or so years, they're all movies where you do kind of know the ending, or at least it's about the idea of making the film. Rush is an example. A lot of people, under 40 aren't familiar with that story.
Oh,
but
we love
of a
Rush
certain
here
age-
in this house. We love Rush.
No, he means the real story though.
In this house, we love Rush.
No, the movie's excellent, but I think he's
you
saying
mean-
that the real story of that.
Brad loved Hillbilly Elegy. I think is what he really loved. Ron Howard film.
Oh yeah, that gem.
And we all love the Da Vinci Code, right?
I mean, well, Inferno, way up here, but sure. No. Okay, well, that's good. Brad, what do you think? What do you think the last movie Nate watched was?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I don't want to play that game.
Nate, what's the last movie you watched, buddy?
So I was assigned the movie Freaky, which is a film that came out, I think, in 2020, maybe
did,
2019.
For those of you that don't know, we're doing this new thing on the podcast where Brad and Nate will tell me what to watch, and Nate and me will tell Brad what to watch, and the cycle continues until we've all watched.
We all tell each other to watch a movie every week
that we've never seen.
Yeah.
Freaky is a film that came out in 2020. It stars Vince Vaughn and Catherine Newton and a couple other people you probably haven't seen. And essentially, it's like a horror take. So I compare it to like if Scream and Halloween and Freaky Friday came together and had a baby somehow, this would be the film that came out of it.
Do you want to know what the essentially the elevator pitch was for this movie?
Yeah, I do. Do you want to let him continue?
No. You know what though? Brad asked a question, and I'm wanting him to educate me.
Because it tells you exactly what the movie is in the fewest words possible. The way they described it was Freaky Friday the 13th.
Yep, very much so. Right. There was nothing new in this film, so there was anything in there that I'm like, oh, this is great. I've seen slasher comedies that are maybe a little more fun. Here's where I liked it. I love Vince Vaughn, and I know that's controversial. I just do. I love Vince Vaughn. He makes me laugh. I don't love everything he's done, but Wedding Crashers is one of my favorite comedies. Swingers is one of my favorite films.
Old school.
Yeah, I really have a soft spot for Vince Vaughn.
Is it controversial to like Vince Vaughn?
Well, I think he's a Republican. I think he's got some.
So it's maybe controversial to
views.
who he hangs out with in his belief structure.
Yeah,
but the movies that he makes,
I don't think everyone loves the movies Vince Vaughn makes. Do you?
I would say in recent years he's
There
made
you go.
more
Bingo.
bad ones than good ones.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm
Knows.
saying. And honestly, some of that is probably my view of like Reddit influencing me because everyone's like, oh, freaking Vince Vaughn.
But what is that? Block 99?
It was great.
That was
great.
incredible.
Yeah,
and that's
that was
a
a great
recent Vince Vaughn movie. So
Yeah, no, I agree. That's what I'm saying. And so I enjoy Vince Vaughn a lot. And so I actually wanted him to be a little funnier here. There was more comedy I thought that they left on the table.
But I liked it because I felt like I was fine with them leaning a little bit more into the slasher side than the comedy side. Because I really like this movie because
I do too. I want to go on record. I did like this film a lot.
even though you say that it doesn't really do anything new, I think the premise itself is new in a way because it takes this horror approach to body swapping that we haven't seen before, and that changes the dynamic a little bit. And I also think that because the horror elements do genuinely feel like a horror movie, the way it mixes with the comedy stuff, it offers something that is refreshing.
Yeah, and I understand when you kind of mold these genres together, right? You're gonna have to make some directorial and writing decisions that are gonna go one way or the other. And obviously, they could do it much better than I would do it. But I thought there was some stuff that Vince Vaughn could have done comedically in that role, and he did some of it. Obviously, when Vince Vaughn's playing a 17-year-old, like character, girl character, it's pretty funny. You got this 6'4" guy that's balding and these kind of things, and
he's also a psychopath murderer.
Yeah,
too.
a psycho. But he's not. Obviously, when he's playing the cheerleader type,
but seeing him as that character doing that,
so better version of the 17-year-old girl trapped in a 50-year-old man's body. Is it this or is it Jack Black?
It's this.
This is better than Jack Black's performance in Jumanji.
I'm not saying it's better than his performance. I think that the movie is better though.
That's not the question though.
I do love Jumanji, but yes, I think this is probably a better film from start to finish.
Again, not the question. Just
but
better
yes,
performance.
I honestly, Jack Black's performance there is really great.
Fantastic, right?
He's very funny.
It's Jack Black for me.
I think
Jack Black did more with it. Honestly,
I think
he did.
I think Jack Black is funnier doing it. I think Vince Vaughn's performance is better.
But I think that was my whole point. Is I think Vince Vaughn could have done more with it. Like I think he could have done. I don't want him to do Jack Black, but like there are some things that he could have done because he's capable of doing that would have been really funny.
I think if this movie was directed by I don't know, like Ruben Fleischer of Zombieland, or like
that's exactly,
or and Edgar Wright or something like that, then the comedy would have been tapped into more. But like I said, I'm fine with it being more of a horror movie than a comedy.
Jeff, have you seen Freaky? Any of you seen the Jumanji films?
I've seen the Jumanji films. I've not seen Freaky.
Did you enjoy Jack Black as a teenage girl in that? Did you think he did a good job? Serious question.
I love the leading question there of did you agree with me?
A fantastic job or a bad job?
Was it your favorite role of 2020?
No, I do think he did a good job. I'm just wondering though, just to circle back to the idea of like what makes Vince Vaughn controversial. I'm just wondering if these sort of acting choices have sort of a shelf life to them. I'm just wondering if like we're going to culturally get out of a moment where men can be playing teenage girls. And again, I've not seen Freaky, so I can't speak to that at all. But I remember watching the Jumanji films and thinking they were great, and thinking Jack Black nailed it, but do remember feeling that it seemed a little dated, seemed a little like
I agree with
90s style humor. And I'm just wondering if we're wondering why these actors are being considered controversial, it's because we're doing things that might be kind of a faux pas now. I don't know.
So good performance, not great performance. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'd say an 8.5. Yeah, absolutely.
So I did think this film was good. I did enjoy this film.
I like this a lot.
Yep.
I like this movie a lot.
Brad, what'd you watch?
All the movies that we did assign each other, this one we're sticking with an October theme. So like horror movies, thrillers.
So you saw October
spooky
Baby
movies. So I watched October Sky.
So I watched The November Man.
So I watched Frailty, which is a movie directed by Bill Paxton, R.I.P. And this was a movie that came out a while ago. I want to say it was 96.
Ben assigned you this?
He did.
I've never even heard of this.
Are you serious?
It has a pretty solid audience. I don't want to call it a fan base necessarily, but it got some attention. Oh, it came out in 2001.
When you say Frailty to people of that, because again, we've talked about this. I've watched every movie.
There was a guy in my
98 through 2002.
That was the area I was not watching any films.
There was a guy in my
college.
In my college dorm my freshman year who loved this movie, but I never got around to watching it. And so this movie follows Bill Paxton as the father of two sons. One of them like 12 or 13, and the other one like 8 years old, something like that. And suddenly, in the middle of the night, he has this premonition that God is talking to him and has tasked him and his sons with killing demons who are living on Earth in the bodies of humans. This isn't done in a very stylish, supernatural VFX way, like End of Days or something like that. It's done in a very Sundance indie style kind of package where he gets what he says are these messages from God. He goes and hits people over the head with a lead pipe, brings them back to his house, and cuts them up with an axe, and does it in front of his sons and tells them this is what they have to do. This is what God wants them to do. And so, of course, his older son is doesn't buy into it, thinks that his dad's losing it, but the younger son is totally into it. And so this unfolds as basically a story being told to an FBI agent by the Matthew McConaughey as one of the brothers who is coming in to say, I think my brother, is the person who's been behind these murders that you're looking for. And so you hear the whole story, and it's very interestingly done. I don't want to spoil anything about the ending because it is a very interesting ending.
It is a new release,
but it's the kind of movie though where you don't want the ending spoiled.
And it's one of those that maybe a lot of people missed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah,
you like it?
I did like it. I was expecting. I don't know. I was expecting a little bit more from it, but I wasn't disappointed that I didn't get what I expected. It was definitely more lower key than I anticipated, but I was fine with that when all was said and done.
It never went up to a hill for you, or was it just What do you mean by that? Unpack that for me a little bit more.
Like, I think I was expecting it to have more to say because of the religious aspects of it,
All right.
but it leans more into being a lower key genre movie.
Okay. So there's not a point to it necessarily.
I don't want to say there's not a point to it, because I think it does make you question some things and think about like things like that in a different way, especially how you perceive people who say that they are doing something because they've been mandated by God, but not necessarily in a way that is like, I don't know, full of significance necessarily, just in a way of like, oh, it would be crazy if the people who are doing things like this actually, you know, like some stuff like that. But yeah, Jeff, have you ever heard of or seen Frailty? Because this is an older movie.
I'd never even heard of it. But.
So I want to say I saw it like when it came out, because your description of it, and you said Matthew McConaughey was in it, right?
Yeah.
I do think I've seen that. I mean, not in any way that I can speak to it, but yeah, I think I've seen it like in the late 90s on probably like a VHS when I was like babysitting or something.
Yeah, I definitely would have gotten a VHS release around this time.
And I remember that they were the Bill Paxton is sitting around the kitchen table and like a wooden table talking to his two sons in a few scenes, and that's it sticks out to me that's basically trying to convince the older one that this is truly God's plan, and the younger one's all about it.
Yeah, and
that's where I remember thinking this part's really good. Like I'm in.
So I guess my question to you, Brad, is what do you think would be different about it if it were made today? Because I think the topic of sort of devotion and the excesses of devotion is maybe more prevalent today than it was in the mid 90s. So like, how could you anticipate the changes if it were made in 21 or 22?
That's a good question. I feel like, well, first of all, I don't even know if this movie would get made today.
Okay.
It's one of those that probably because of the limited audience that it would reach at a box office probably wouldn't get made today.
Yeah, and I think it probably would end up at a film festival or something like that, and it might drum up, you know, like a small audience and following, and like people, you know, seeing it maybe in theaters. But like nowadays, it'd probably just be like a streaming release.
Or if they remade it, it would be like, oh, look at all the cool visual effects we can do. That they're real. He sees these demons, and it's all CGI, and it's like, what are you doing?
Maybe.
Well,
but
would it be like a limited series on Netflix or something?
You know, when I was watching it, I actually thought that it would be interesting if they were to turn this concept into some kind of limited series, because there is a procedural angle to it that they could do, and actually, it's something that they have kind of done in a procedural way. There was not in a completely different tone, I want to say too. There was a show on the CW called Reaper. That followed a guy who made a deal with the devil, and like all of a sudden he was forced to go around each episode and send demons back to hell who the devil like had they had a debt or something like that.
Is that a Ron Howard thing?
Reaper?
What's the show, Brad, that the After Party? Is that with Tiffany Haddish?
Yeah, the murder mystery show on Apple TV+.
So take Frailty as a premise, but you do it at the After Party style with like a version of this show is every victim is their life and how they come to their end as the quote unquote demon. And there's the overarch of the Bill Paxton character and his sons like interacting with them in certain ways. Okay.
I was thinking of it more of like a, did you ever see the CBS show Person of Interest?
Yes. No, I'm a huge NCIS fan. So
that had Jesus in it, right? That had Jesus in it.
Is that Jim Caviezel?
It did, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, it had Jesus in it. Jim Caviezel and the guy. No, Nate said it too.
But no, Jeff just said it.
Yeah, they both said it.
I said Jim Caviezel, Brad. I got it first.
That's the game. That's the game. And you've got 3 points.
Well, we just played a game. Good job.
And it also had the guy who played Ben from Lost in it, Michael Emerson.
Yeah. He still creeps me out.
The show the show itself, what's interesting is like it was marketed and it started off as like this very typical procedural kind of show where it's like picking up a person each week that they have to track down and do something with, but it had this incredibly interesting and compelling serial aspect to it too that kept growing and growing as the show went on.
Man, I really thought you were making a joke.
No, I'm dead serious.
CBS procedural drama.
No, seriously.
This show, but people love this show.
No, seriously, it's really good too. It takes a little while to really dig into the serial aspect of it, but once you get into that, the show gets really good.
I was thinking more like Frailty, but like Blue Bloods
or Jag. Did you say the last movie you saw?
Oh no.
Yeah, that's part of this podcast.
Yeah, that's,
you guys don't.
It's
care.
literally 1/3 of the podcast. Sometimes 1/4.
Jeff, do you care?
Jeff cares.
Yeah, I do. What movie did you last watch?
Yeah, whatever.
I love it so much. Jeff, you're my favorite.
By the way, no, last time you didn't do the
Yeah,
assignment.
you actually have a movie that you're supposed to talk about. That you're supposed to talk about in the previous episode.
I watched both.
Okay, so
I
let's
did.
you though.
I did.
So-
I really did.
so let's start with the one that I haven't not haven't seen, but the one that I didn't watch intentionally because Nate decided.
Oh, sure.
And that was-
Forest for the Trees.
Oh boy,
Oh, sorry. Let Me In.
Let Me In.
No,
You watched Let Me In.
I did, but
That's the one I'm talking about. That's the one I want you to talk about first.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you.
Because I
Were...
saw the other one as well, so we'll talk about that. In a
Oh,
second.
I'm so
He
sorry.
can-
I
he can
just misread
contribute.
exactly what the fuck you were
He's
talking
just
about.
I honestly said it in a really stupid way, so don't even worry about it.
It was kind of confusing, but we can all contribute to the next one that you
Okay,
saw.
fine,
but
fine.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Let Me In. Right.
Well, maybe Jeff won't, but we'll see.
Have you seen Let Me In?
No, not.
I-
God damn it!
I have not seen Let Me In though.
No, Let Me In. So the best part of this film is Richard Jenkins, in my personal opinion.
Well,
I just love him always as the father figure that's trying so hard to do certain things that are right. It's just he's so good in every role. But yeah, it's and I like this film because I'm not gonna spoil it. It's from 2010, but
What's
I'm
it
not gonna
about?
spoil anything. Oh yeah, sorry. I apologize. This film takes place in, let's say, 2010. Is it 2000? When does it take place?
It was made in 2010. so-
It's modern though.
I don't remember if it's modern day or if it's set in the 80s.
That doesn't matter.
The plot, according to Wikipedia,
That
is
doesn't
March
matter.
1983.
There you go.
Sorry, I couldn't remember that part.
For some reason, I couldn't shake the fact that I thought it was in the 80s.
I watched it, and honestly, I wanted to watch it immediately, so I watched it right after our last podcast. So it's been a week. I'm sorry, but no.
Good.
Long story short, it is a vampire movie where a young girl who is perpetually 13, let's say 10, 11, 12, 13, befriends a young boy who's bullied at school, and her father, Richard Jenkins, is basically her caretaker, and they live in an apartment complex, and the young girl and the young boy that also lives there, they meet randomly. He's being bullied. He won't tell his parents, but he'll tell her. It's throughout the course, you find out that she needs to drink blood to live. Richard Jenkins is killing people and bringing them back, draining their blood, and allowing her to feast. And things go awry, and eventually, and this is, it's 2010, so I'm not really keeping spoilers here too much. He passes away and he allows her to drink his blood in the hospital room, and basically now she's on her own. And it's this incredibly there's a lot of nuance there about relationships, and it's not necessarily a romantic movie, but there's this like pubescent kind of like, angsty yearning, like I don't know where I fit in, I'm being bullied, what's going on. This is somebody I connect with, but she's different. There's a lot of that going on.
Ben, would you say that maybe it's a good coming of age movie?
I didn't want to.
I'd actually read I have not seen this film, but
I
did.
hate coming of age movies.
This is exactly why I gave it to you.
I hate you so much.
I like coming of age movies.
I don't like them. I'm not a fan.
But you like this.
I love this movie. I love this movie.
So you do like coming of
Because
age
it's great.
movies.
I like vampire movies, Nate.
Do you think though that Armie Hammer would love this movie?
Yes.
Oh, no. Well, 'cause she's not really eating the flesh.
And cracking the bones and sucking out the marrow.
Yeah, exactly. She's a bloodsucker.
No, it's also, I think, Brad, there's a bit of revenge here.
Mhm.
And so that's also why I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, this movie is really good, and it's actually a remake of a Swedish movie called Let the Right One in. I still
I didn't
haven't
know
seen
that.
the original, but I love this one, and this is directed by Matt Reeves, who also directed one of the newer Planet of the Apes movies. He also directed The Batman recently as well.
No,
And
it's very good. I was never bored watching it. I love Richard Jenkins. I think he's fantastic. Overall, I give it a very high score. Very good.
yes, you heard that here. Ben loves a coming of age movie,
As you should.
as well you should.
What else, Brad?
Hey, what'd you watch for the week before that you
Well, hold
didn't
on.
watch, but that you
Je-
watched?
So Jeff, have you seen Let Me In?
I have not. No.
Oh, see, we got to fix that.
I haven't either, Jeff. You're fine.
It's
Hey, thanks,
good.
Nate.
Seriously, it's October. You guys should be watching all these horror movies.
Jeff, what's the when we talked recently before off the podcast, you had said that you hadn't been to theaters in a long time. Just for a frame of reference.
Well,
Right.
there was a pandemic.
Well, besides that, we've been to the theaters. When was the last time you went to the theaters before?
Was it to see Bullet
Well,
Train?
I mean, we saw we saw all the movies this summer. I mean, all the big blockbusters. We saw.
You told me you hadn't seen
Thor and
seen
Top
movies in a long
Gun.
time.
He
Brad
actually
lied.
previously in the podcast tonight.
He said he saw Thor.
Yeah.
But previously he told me he hadn't been a long time.
Why do you lie, Brad?
Why does Jeff lie, Nate? Ben?
I can't watch movies at home though. So I mean, like we've taken some trips this summer. So we saw like Top Gun and Jurassic Kingdom and, and all of that. But no, I went from I was going to say Dick Jewell, but that's not true. Richard Jewell.
Dick Jewell would have been a better title.
Some of us know him as Dick, yeah.
I went from Richard Jewell in December of 19 all the way until I want to say West Side Story. So that was a long time between movies in the theaters.
That was yeah. That's a good.
I mean, that was like 2 years.
Yeah, that is a good 2 years. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. But you still saw movies when they came out on home video eventually, or
Home video.
I mean,
Home
I
video?
tried.
Home video?
Yeah,
home video. Home video,
Blockbuster
home video
down the
is the
street.
overarching
Did you
term.
rent him from the
Yeah,
Blockbuster?
I saw Frailty on home video on the VHS tape.
Well, yeah, but then I saw the Batman on home video because it came out on home and it's a video that I watched. So fuck yourself.
God, that's not how we say things, Grandpa.
You're wearing a Sleepless in Seattle shirt.
The kids are
Go
gonna
fuck
stop
This is
yourself.
a vintage shirt.
The kids are going to stop listening to this podcast if we don't get cool. All right. Hey, Ben, go twerk or something.
I'm showing Jeff. This is a vintage Sleepless
Okay,
in
but
Seattle.
you're showing Jeff,
t-shirt.
but nobody else on the podcast can
I
see
don't give
that.
a fuck right now. Jeff needs to see how cool this shirt is.
Listen, it's not. I
love it, man.
I like the shirt. I wish it was a different color.
It's literally I got it from a vintage shop in Denver. Like
I
this
know.
is
No.
is from the 90s.
No, I know. I was gonna say. I guarantee you, it's like a full on promotional shirt that they
It
gave
is.
away.
Absolutely.
But it needs to be a different color.
Anyway,
Moving on.
Jesus Christ. Leave No Trace.
Yes, we both
Leave
watched
No
this.
Trace. I was
I
supposed to
suggested that
supposed
to
to watch it last week. I didn't, and so I did. I made up for it, and I almost fell asleep.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not joking.
It is a slow burn of a movie.
It's so boring. There's no stakes.
Whoa! I didn't say it was boring.
It's no. Sorry.
You don't guys. You guys don't
apologize.
like this movie? I love
apologize.
this movie.
No.
No, hold on.
I didn't dislike this movie
Brad,
at all.
why do you hate this movie?
Listen, I don't like families.
So I loved this movie when it was better and called Captain Fantastic.
Oh, that now I'm not gonna. No.
Oh,
First of all,
my word.
Captain Fantastic is a completely different kind of movie. It's about a huge family, and it's more of an indie comedy. This is very much a drama, and it's very specifically
much.
focused on a father and daughter. It is about Ben Foster and Thomasin McKenzie, who
kills it. Both
Yeah.
of those kill it.
Thomasin McKenzie is the girl from Jojo Rabbit. And it follows them because he's a veteran, and he has basically raised her as a homeless family. Essentially, they live in the woods in Oregon.
And he's got severe PTSD.
He has severe PTSD, and they both live a perfectly fine existence living in the woods in Oregon. They have like a whole tent system set up. They have ways to cook. They have ways to keep their food cool. They hunt and stuff like that. But then they're not really allowed to do this, especially when it's on federal parkland. And so authorities find them. They try to put them back in society, finding them a place to live. And so they have to live more like we are accustomed to. And it just doesn't really work for him still. But his daughter kind of likes it. And so you have this generational story of like, your parents live this way. They want you to live this way, but you want to live a different way. And it's that conflict between them and figuring out what's best for each other.
And this is why I love the film, because it was telling a story that I think so many people know is you care so deeply about your parents, but you can see yourself moving away from them in their beliefs, in their behaviors, these kind of things, but you still feel a debt to them in some weird way, even when sometimes you shouldn't, right? Like, and so I love this film. I'm disappointed you didn't love this.
There are a lot to take away from this film insofar as the acting is superb. It is, and the universe that they build, they stay within it, and there is a point to everything that they're doing. I get it. But I feel like if you're making a movie and you're trying to get to a boiling point where like the pot is it's gonna spill over because there's some tension and some stakes, this is on a simmer the entire time, and it ends on a simmer. If Captain Phillips is allowed to end the movie, and that's the reason it gets an Academy Award nomination, because at the end something really big, a big speech happens, and now that gives Tom Hanks an Academy Award presentation. At the end of this movie, there's a back and forth between the father and the daughter, and it's like, all right, well. And it's not huge. I didn't want to cry. I didn't feel that emotional response. it's just
it's
a simmer, man.
It didn't make me cry, but I still had an emotional response for sure. Because honestly, not everything has to come to a boil, because that's not always how life is either. You know, like
I don't know, but
sometimes you have.
So what's this movie then? What's this for?
Honestly, this movie stuck with me longer, and it didn't make me cry, and I cry easily. You guys know that, but it stuck with me because of I thought about how difficult it could have been for her, right? Yeah. I thought about, I wonder if she thinks a lot about where her dad is now. Because, I mean, really, he's off grid, these kind of things. I'll tell you this, the reason I saw this film, because it came out, I think, in 2018. Mm-hmm. And at the end of 2018, it was on like everyone's best of list. Like it was a lot at the top of many of them. It was in the top 10 of many of them. And I thought, I've never even heard of this film. And I don't know, maybe just some films Benny, I've seen critically loved films that I didn't love. I'm
not saying, and by the way, I know. I like this film.
I know.
I don't hate it.
It doesn't sound like it.
It's not the worst thing.
Sounds like it didn't boil your macaroni.
What are the stakes?
Hold on. Oh, wait, Jeff. Yeah, Jeff's chiming in here.
Hey, El Jefe, go ahead.
Can I geek things up just for a hot second?
Absolutely.
Yep. So one of the things that when I talk to my students about writing, we look at like the narrative structure. I mean, you guys like exposition, rising action, climax, right? And we talk about how that was modeled kind of indirectly after the male sexual experience, which is why stories that are told by men sort of have that dominant narrative structure with the single climax, the result, the denouement, the unfolding action, all this stuff.
Which is also why Ben doesn't understand what you're saying. Go ahead.
Well, no, because I mean, this movie was written by a woman.
Yeah,
it was directed by a woman,
written and directed by the same woman, Deborah Granick. So that
right, and so it's there's something to be said about narratives that are constructed by females, that they don't align with that sort of single climax rising action to the boiling point structure, which I'm not trying to disagree with Ben. I'm trying to prove Ben's point.
No, don't.
That his criticism of this film is indicative of the fact that it was not written and directed by a guy.
And the fact that Ben loves his fucking jizz movies.
That was what I was saying at all. Like I want there to be stakes in a film. Like
oh yeah, of course a man wants stakes in a movie. Stakes and sex. So here it comes.
It was a red meat.
Meat and jizz.
It's the same reason why I think this is an acting class. These are very good performers that are interacting together, and it's fantastic. Just like Licorice Pizza, that was an amazing acting class, but that had no point.
Shut up, Nate.
No, this was much better than Licorice Pizza.
I didn't like the movie at all.
No.
Stop it. It was better. Again, though, and that was a really interesting point, by the way, about like, and maybe that's why it did feel different to me. This film did feel different to me.
Yeah.
And because it was more emotional, right? It wasn't. You've got this army PTSD guy who probably has done some things in his life, but it wasn't about the things that he could do. Right. It wasn't like Liam Neeson kind of, like I'm going to protect my daughter. It was a man that clearly has some mental and emotional instability.
And this is how we live. We're comfortable.
A daughter that really loves him, but also knows that she's moving away from this.
Hey, Dad, just put your hands over the bees. Do you feel the warmth of the hive and the togetherness is warm and good?
Yeah, that's a fucking beautiful scene. It's like
it's so on the nose. It's so fucking in your face.
No,
Jesus Christ.
I disagree. I disagree entirely. I think it was done very well, and I think it's a beautiful sentiment. I also think that like I like what Jeff says too, because like it's this idea that like not every issue you have or like confrontation you have is gonna like turn into a shouting match, or like it's gonna be this thing where like we have to have an all-out fight to like really decide where we're gonna be. But like they understand each other because they've been together, like they've lived like this their whole lives, and like he knows that she can't live like this anymore, and she knows this is the only way he can live without.
Just have the bee sting her, and then she goes into anaphylactic shock, and they have to rush her to the hospital. And he realizes the error of his ways. He can't be off the grid all the time because I almost killed my daughter because I didn't know about that about her.
And he's complaining about being on the nose.
I'm just kidding, but that's again. It was just there was a lot of like this. I get it. I get what you're going for. It's. Wow.
Did you watch this at a time when like you had other stuff to do, so you were like, oh, come on, I got to get through this movie?
No, I watched it on the plane coming back.
It's fair.
And I had nothing to do when I stared at the fucking thing.
It's fair, right? It's fair that not everyone love this movie, and it can be a slow burn, but I don't even know if it's a slow burn because there's a lot happening.
Yeah.
But it is an emotionally different type of film.
I'm being contrarian on purpose for comedy here, but at the end of the day, I think that they're great actors and they acted very well. And again, the universe they built, existed within it perfectly. It didn't do anything like I thought it would do.
It didn't get you rock hard.
No, it
Like
did
you
not.
like your movies.
I like to be rock hard watching family films with fathers and daughters. Yes.
Jeff, I assume you haven't seen Leave No Trace.
No, but I was at an IMAX theater, and not like a cool one, like a museum IMAX theater. So like the trailers for like panda movies and icebergs and stuff. And we were watching like an IMAX movie on like dolphins or something. And they actually showed a trailer for Leave No Trace. And I'm like, well, this is odd, because usually they don't show like movies like that at a museum.
Yeah.
Or trailer song. But I remember thinking like, this looks interesting. In Ben's defense, I will say this looks like even from the trailer, I'm like, this looks like an incredibly slow burn. It looks like an incredibly deep character piece where nature is a character.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to see it so badly that 4 years later, I still have not seen it. So
there's a lot of movies like that too. Like even somebody like me who like, it's my job to watch a bunch of movies, but like, and this was a movie, like Nate said, it was on a lot of best of lists. It was acclaimed the year it came out, and I wanted to go out of my way to see it, but I never got around to it. So I didn't even watch it until just now when Nate told me to watch it. So
there's not a doubt in my mind that I would appreciate it. There's also not a doubt in my mind that I would not enjoy it. And, so
I don't know if you wouldn't enjoy it necessarily. I think this is the kind of movie that actually you would enjoy and appreciate,
because it's not one that breaks your heart.
So okay,
yeah.
Here's my take. Maybe after all this conversation, after the first 30 minutes, I like that's what the movie is, and it's never going to change. And so if you get what it is in the first, because the payoff is it's not a payoff, it's the same. So it's like, I get what this movie is. I see where they're going with it.
Disagree.
I could probably write the ending based on this, 30 minutes.
For the visuals that aren't there for people, me and Nate were shaking our heds, and if we had beads inside them, they would be rattling a lot.
I disagree with that. But again, I respect your opinion on this, Ben, because I don't think you're totally off. When I wrote it, and maybe it emotionally hit me at the right time, right? Because some films just emotionally hit you at the right time. I just really love the beauty of loving someone and separating from someone, whether it's a friend or a family member or somebody you care deeply about, that you know that your life is pointing in two different directions.
Maybe that's it. Maybe I cut people out pretty easily. And so that's
Jeff, you were going to say something.
Well, it also doesn't. It seems like the worst possible movie to watch on a plane. And again, I'm saying
it really does. It is not one I would watch.
Don't watch quiet movies on a plane, buddy.
I don't know. I mean, like, I get the Beats by Dre headphones on, noise cancel.
Yeah.
I got that the screen is on full brightness, so I can see it.
Yeah.
Because the guy at the window seat the shades up, so there's clearly a glare on the screen the whole time.
Sheet down, shades up. That's the way you like to book.
All right, time out. We got to get the trailers.
Quick trailers.
Yep. I don't want to do quick.
We don't have to do quick, but we're not going to be able to do a game.
No, well, we're going to have another conversation anyway, but maybe we'll just save that for a different, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Honestly, let's do Last Man Standing at the end of this and be done, because we have to say that for that, because that'll be another 20 minutes and we can't go over.
Well, we got to get through trailers still.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
We got to do trailers and then play.
All right, we watched a couple trailers. One of them is for an upcoming miniseries on Netflix. We're sticking with the spooky season style of things. Ooh, that's the ghost sound that Nate does. It's called The Cabinet of Curiosities. Guillermo del Toro's.
Curiosities.
Did you tell Jeff to watch these trailers, by the way?
I did at the last minute because I forgot. Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. Guillermo del Toro is a fantastic filmmaker. He's done stuff like Hellboy, and he's also done stuff like Pan's Labyrinth and The Shape of Water. Both very prestigious, acclaimed films. And now he's curated this series of horror stories that he's letting a bunch of other directors take a crack at, and he's bookending them kind of like his own Twilight Zone in a way. And this is the kind of stuff I love to see Guillermo del Toro do. So I'm super excited about this. What did you guys think of the trailer? Jeff, we're going to start with you.
You're going to start with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm a Guillermo del Toro fan from way back. I think Pan's Labyrinth is a movie I saw in the theaters, tied for my most of any movie of all time. I think I saw it 4 times.
Wow, really?
I think in a 2-week period. I mean, I saw it on a Friday, Saturday, and I think I went back the next Friday, Saturday, and watched it again.
Nice.
I've shown it in my film class. I mean, this is a film I adore, and I've followed all of his career since then. I watched this trailer way in advance of this podcast because Brad gave me plenty of time, and I think it was. I mean, I'm ecstatic, but I did not know this was coming. I think this is right in his wheelhouse. I think this is something a filmmaker does when they get to a point in their career where they can truly just take on a fun passion project. And it seems like we're definitely going back to some of his, there are some visual homages to what he was doing in Pans.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely he's got his visual aesthetic there. There are some interesting narrative, not narrative departures, but visual departures that I've not really seen. But I'm excited about it. And I just love the idea of this curation of stories. I think it harkens back to like what Brad just said, the Twilight Zone. Also, Brad, I'm blanking on it. What was that show in the 80s that was sort of like a precursor to Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark? It was like a series. Was it called like Amazing Stories?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
They redid that.
And that's where a lot of filmmakers kind of got their start too. People like Steven Spielberg, Robert Zemeckis.
Spielberg was on that,
yeah,
right?
They directed a lot of episodes of that.
So this looks right up my alley, and I am not sure I could be happier for this Halloween season to
Like
watch all.
Right up your nightmare alley.
It's right on my nightmare alley.
It's a Guillermo del Toro movie.
I've never seen a trailer in which the director is standing next to an actual cabinet
Of Curiosities.
of Curiosity. Like, this is my cabinet. No, I liked it. It was just really
It's
fun.
Hitchcockian though.
No, exactly.
Hitchcock would do
And
that.
that's
I was gonna
exactly-
say, it felt very
No,
Hitchcock.
I apologize if that came out.
Very Hitchcocky, but less rapey.
Okay.
Yeah.
I apologize if that came off like a slam. I loved it. I thought it's such a great homage to, you're exactly right. Exactly that. The mix of Hitchcock and Twilight Zone. It's an anthology, basically.
Yeah, it's a series of horrors. Stories.
How much did he have?
He wrote one of them, and he's the executive producer of the overall
and
thing.
did some like story on a lot of them too.
Because like thematically and like it's like, Nightmare Before Christmas wasn't necessarily a Tim Burton movie,
right?
But like, and these aren't Guillermo del Toro movies,
right?
But they are.
But they're the stories that are essentially
told in his theme.
And some of them, probably 4 or 5 of them, are short stories, like already written short stories.
Gotcha.
Some of them older.
Right.
No, yeah,
some
I'm
of
on
them
board.
newer.
I'm on board.
So
for
the
sure.
the filmmakers that are doing this, it's the Babadook director Jennifer Kent, Mandy director Panos Cosmatos, A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night Anna Lily Amirpour, and 13 director Catherine Hardwicke. They're doing.
And then
stories.
they've got some writers there that are working with, again, so I think it was a very collaborative project with Guillermo del Toro. And
So
they've got a lot of good writers in there too.
You said the writer of the Ron Howard movie about the people in the cave wrote this.
No.
You said 13.
You got a stupid
13.
face.
13 lives.
13 lives.
And it's got a great cast too, and all of these. Like there's some really exciting things I think in this trailer.
No, this is
it's gonna
incredible.
Be great. It's going to be great.
On board. Everybody's gonna watch it, right? You're watching it.
Oh yeah, it's going to be great.
It comes out on Netflix starting on October 25th, just before Halloween comes. So it gives
Not
you
just starting, the whole thing drops on October 25th.
Oh, I just mean that it'll be airing starting on.
Guys, spoiler alert. That's the next trailer we're watching.
That's true. We watched the trailer for this movie called Spoiler Alert.
It's fine.
And it's because the main character dies at the end.
So it's a sequel to John Dies at the End.
I'm not joking. That's actually why the movie's called Spoiler
I know.
Alert.
I get it.
Yeah, it's not a joke, buddy.
Jesus Christ.
It's based on a book called Spoiler Alert: The Hero Dies.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Jeff, what did you think about Spoiler Alert?
So I thank you again for this one. It looks, at first glance, it looks like the new Billy Eichner movie. Kind of, I forget what that's called. Bros.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little more serious version of that. Obviously, I watched the trailer, and it does take a hard pivot about 2/3 of the way through to sort of bring out the title. The thing I'm appreciating about it is it seems like we're coming out with these, no pun intended, these genre or these films that the sexuality of the characters is not really a factor. Mm-hmm. And now we can tell stories with queer folks whose narratives transcend their queerness. And this is not a story about two gay men. This is a story about two men, and they are in a relationship and they fall in love, and then spoiler alert, ... But it's refreshing to see queer representation on film where the dominant conflict is not family isolation or social ostracization or coming out or being in the closet. So it was refreshing to see. And I will see it. It looks good.
Yeah, I agree. Ben, how about you? Did this boil your pot?
This boils my pot. So Bailey and I watched this trailer together, and she said, it looks like a lot of movies that I've seen before, which the partner, they fall in love, one of them is dying. Mm-hmm. And so what's different about this, obviously, and to your point, Jeff, that it's not about being gay. We've seen Philadelphia. We've seen movies about being gay, and that's the only
one Ben's seen.
No, it's fun to watch an entire film in a trailer, and that's why I liked it.
Right.
So I don't need to see the film because I watched the trailer, and literally everything happens.
I will say
the whole movie happens.
But
in this
I will
trailer.
say
it's like Leave No Trace.
I'm not joking though. Like this movie looks great, but I could have done with the trailer being like cut halfway through. I get it, spoiler alert, so you've got to kind of say what it is, but I really feel like I watched the entirety of the film. I don't know that I need to watch this.
Sometimes I agree with that kind of feeling when you see a trailer and it feels like it tells you the whole movie. But like there are also movies I think that transcend what it's telling you in the trailer, because so much more comes from the experience of spending more time with those characters and digging into the story. So like I don't necessarily always hate if a trailer is like telling me everything I need to know going into it, because it is about the experience of, I think, seeing the overall story for me.
That's fair. This is one of those times.
It's sort of daring you. It's sort of daring you though to play with it, right? Yeah. Like as somebody who's, I mean, Brad, I know you're the same way, but it's like as somebody who's experienced loss, it's like you have a choice when you're confronted with that. Like you can either run away or you can sort of just say like, well, this is my life now. And I think when a movie throws all its cards down and tells you this is what I am, I think it's kind of neat sometimes, because it's saying, there's no surprises here. You have a choice to make.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, Ben.
I'm a sucker for, you guys should know this by now, I'm a sucker for a Christmas rom-com where the person dies in it. There's
a very specific genre.
No, and honestly, his top 4 are The Santa Claus and
Family Stone,
Love Actually.
Yeah.
And Christmas with the Cranks.
Yeah.
And The Ref.
And Dead at Christmas.
I will say this too.
Dead at Christmas.
I trust Michael Showalter. I think he's done some good things.
I will say, when I saw that he was directing, I got back on. Mm-hmm. Like, I should probably watch.
Have you seen The Big Sick, Ben?
I haven't.
You son of a bitch. Yeah,
have you really not?
No, he has. I forced him. It took me forever to get him to watch it because he kept putting it off.
Well, because his stupid fucking name is all over the goddamn thing. Like, best movie of the year, Brad Oman, bleh, whatever.
The quote was the most authentic romantic comedy in years.
But he also did Eyes of Tammy Faye. Did you see that one?
I loved that movie.
Okay,
you loved The Eyes of Tammy Faye?
I loved Chastain's performance as Tammy.
Okay, so that's two different statements.
You're right. I'm sorry. I apologize.
But
I misspoke. I loved her performance.
You know what I didn't love about this trailer though is I wasn't sure about Jim Parsons. Honestly, because when I see Jim Parsons,
Bazinga.
This is no, honestly, even earlier than that, I see him as his role in Garden State.
the fast food night.
I do. And that's even
tough.
worse.
That's tough to get over.
Yeah, it is tough to get over. And so, but I ended up starting to really love him through this trailer.
No, and so to everybody's point and to my chagrin here, I will admit the fact that the trailer was longer actually did build a bit of like, oh man, I kind of already feel for these characters, and now I want to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm going to see.
So I was
it's a
talking
Christmas movie,
talking a bit of shit, but I will say that actually did work, because at the end of it, Bailey and I looked at each other and we're like, oh, well, that looked really good,
No, it looks good. I'm looking forward to seeing it, and I will see it. And again, to the points that have been made about LGBT inclusion, these kind of things, and the importance of that. It is a movie, a rom-com / heartbreaker kind of thing. but also the story hasn't been told about. There's, I think, a scene in there about where he goes to the hospital, right? And before,
Right.
because this actually is a true story, but this happened before many states have legalized gay marriage, same-sex marriage, and so these were real struggles, and it's okay to say that in a film, right? It's okay to point that, because that's a part of a love story, a real love story that I think needs to be also told.
Yeah,
so
I agree. So yeah, two good things coming up. We got a miniseries, and we got when does spoiler alert come out, Nate?
December 16th nationwide. It'll go, I think, a week before at some places, but nationwide on December 16th.
There you go. All right, cool. So do we want to play a game then?
Yeah, let's do Last Man Stand with Jim Parsons.
Oh boy, that was fast.
All right, I'll start. Garden State.
Okay, so Jeff, if you haven't heard, because I don't know how many episodes you listen to, sometimes we play a game called Last Man Standing, where we take the name of an actor or an actress, sometimes a filmmaker, but usually an actor and actress, and we just go around the horn naming movies that they were in or that they directed potentially sometimes.
We actually renamed this game, by the way, but
We
I
did.
can't remember what the new name is because it's been a while.
It was called Role Play.
Yeah, we play role play now.
But anyway, so we just go around the horn naming movies they were in until you can't. And if you can't, you're out. And we are sticklers about the title. So you can't say Pirates of the Caribbean 2. You have to say Pirates of the Caribbean. That's
Electric
my
Boogaloo.
dandy.
And Jeff, you will beat me at this game because I suck at it. So go ahead.
He's very bad at it.
Nate is atrocious. At
So
this
yeah.
game.
So which who do we want to do?
Jeff, do you have who's an actor or actress, large body of work? Who's one of your favorites? It's just big body of work.
So we're not doing Jim Parsons. Oh, okay.
He was ready for Jim Parsons.
Also,
all right,
by the way, just real quick, I know you're zooming in here, but you can't look at your phone or your tablet or your computer to look up these answers.
And we only have to say this because our co-host Nate thought that,
did that.
he was
looked it
able
up
to do
and
that.
cheated.
Okay.
The first time.
So it's a reading.
The rules were not
exercise at that
given to me
point.
before.
Yeah, exactly. And he's not too
Okay.
good at reading, but he still used it to cheat.
Anyway, Jeff, you got an actor or actress in mind? You like somebody?
I mean, can we just say Sigourney Weaver just for Google?
Sure.
Why not?
Absolutely.
I guess I'll start.
Yeah, and actually we will start with
We'll
Nate.
start with Nate.
You know, we'll go Nate, we'll go Jeff, we'll go Brad, me, and then we'll go Jeff because
don't do that.
no, because Nate won't be able to come
No,
up with
that's
a
all.
second one.
Okay, I got you.
I got to get one in.
Yeah.
I got to get one in.
All right, so
And I'll go with aliens.
So Nate
Sorry,
says,
what did you say? What did you say?
I'm so nervous now.
no, what did you say?
Aliens.
Oh, okay.
A-
I want to make
aliens.
sure that you said that one and not.
Okay.
I'm like, is there like a subtitle to aliens?
No.
Aliens. They're going to get you.
So
Okay.
Jeff, Nate has said aliens. What would you like to say?
Oh, well, we'll just go with the singular then.
What is that?
Alien.
Okay, good.
Like I said, Brad's a stickler. He really is.
You have to say the
That's right, I know
title.
You do. Yeah, we'll say the singular. Well, the singular was not a movie that
And because I would like to maybe help our good friend
Yes.
Nate, I'm going to say Alien Resurrection.
Okay.
How's that going to help me, though?
Well, it won't help that you're on your computer right now.
I promise you
scrolling.
I am not on. Okay.
Makes me nervous. I will say Finding Dory.
Nice. It's a pretty deep cut, but yeah.
And I will bow out at that point. 'cause I can't
come
remember.
on.
Nate.
Give me a hint.
But one of the movies
All
is
right.
all over TV this month. And one would argue that it's on AMC at least once every weekend.
Who still has cable?
What? I have
All right, so
YouTube
Nate
TV.
is literally out.
Jesus.
Jeff. Go ahead, buddy.
I'm gonna go with Heartbreakers.
It's a great-
It is a good
great
one.
one.
It's a good pull. I'm gonna
How do you
just
guys know that? I don't even know.
I'm
what
gonna just go
Heartbreakers
with
is.
Ghostbusters.
Oh, didn't.
Yeah,
That's a good one. That's a good
I'm
one.
gonna go with Ghostbusters 2.
Good.
That's another good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff
Oh,
Spanke.
man.
It's on back on you, buddy.
Hey, the new
Um,
Ghostbusters. She, I think, is in there too, Jeff.
Okay, so we've actually never covered this with Nate. You are literally not allowed to do that. You can't give-
He literally phoned a friend. He
You-
literally.
No, but you can't
This
do
isn't
that.
Who Wants to Be a
Like, you
Millionaire.
can't do that. Ever. Don't
Wait, what
ever do that
happened?
again. Nothing, Jeff. You're fine.
All right. Shoot.
Uh-oh.
Brad, you're gonna baby mama?
Yes.
Holy
I think
shit.
Yes, I believe
Yes.
you're. I'm
I think.
I'm a double
Wait,
check.
stop it. I'll check.
Oh, yeah,
I will
yeah.
check.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you're right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
She's in Baby Mama.
Yeah.
The judges are checking right now, and you are correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Ghostbusters Answer the Call.
How'd you know that, Brad?
Oh, well, fucking Nate said it, but I knew it before that.
I was saying you didn't do that one.
Yeah. Let's go with. Oh boy.
Try one of the movies that she's in. That's a
I
good
know.
place to start.
Yeah. I'm blanking currently, and that's not a good look for me. Is it?
I mean, I could give you a hint.
Galaxy Quest.
There you go.
That's a good one.
Oh, good one. I'm out.
No, come on. We'll give you. Sometimes she wears a hat.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, she wears some bracelets. You know, she looks good in a skirt. Well, okay, that was weird. Sorry.
Wow.
I'm so sorry. That was.
She looks real good in a
Nope,
skirt.
Nope. That
I like when she wears those dresses with the ruffly shoulder pads.
No,
Oh,
Jesus.
now I got to cut that.
Yeah,
You just
thank
made
you.
work
That's
for me.
exactly. Thank you.
Jeff, you got something, buddy?
No, I'm done. I can't do it.
Sad.
Hey, you made a lot more than I did, so way to go.
All right, Brad. What's your next one, buddy?
Alien 3.
Yeah, it's just called Alien 3.
It sure is.
You tried to do that for Nate.
And if you want to be technical about it, it's Alien Tiny 3.
Because, so Brad said Alien Resurrection, which is the fourth one, Nate.
Yeah.
So he's trying to.
No, I know. I'm looking at
but Nate thought that it was the third one, and that's why he didn't want to say it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
I don't think you would have gotten it anyway. But
No, yeah,
No, I wouldn't.
All right. Sigourney Weaver, very famous actress, been in a lot of things.
Ben's taking a sip of his drink. He's thinking. He's looking up at the lights or the curtains.
Ooh, I got a couple good ones.
He's looking around the podcast room. He's got his tongue on the roof of his mouth. He looks confused. I think he's forgotten
Finding
what
Dory was
Sigourney
good.
Weaver.
Dan. Finding Dory was good.
Yeah,
was
but
a
you
really
shot
good
your
one.
load early. You let your pot boil.
Yeah.
You stop saying that as a thing. That's not even a thing.
Now it is.
Damn it. All right. Sigourney
You do have to pick today. We've got another podcast. to
Yeah,
record
what are you
later.
doing? Like this is grounds for loss.
It's just really.
hard to think
Hey,
of a
Ben,
movie
you don't get
with-
to do this, all right? You
It's-
don't get to do this. You
Yes.
don't get to just take all the time you want.
Hey,
I like spending,
calm down.
I like spending time with Jeff, and as soon as I lose, then it means we got to go, and I don't want to do that.
I'm gonna tell you, even if you stall, Jeff's gonna leave because he's gonna get sick of this
I
real
know,
quick.
because I'm about ready to leave, and then when I leave, the podcast is over because I'm recording.
That's fair. Let me see if I can just pull one out here real quick, and if I can't, Brad, you are the winner.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bang.
Be cool.
I don't think so.
Okay, we'll try it. Nate, maybe just look. I'm just kidding. She's not in that.
You've got to.
There's no even like small part for her in that.
Brad, do you have any more, Brad?
Yeah, he's got like 9 more.
Well, I got.
Because he always
she's
was
been in
escape.
fucking
He
everything.
always was
I'm
escape.
blanking for
I
no
got
reason.
No,
working.
I know. I looked at the list, Ben, and I'm like, oh dear
Yeah,
God.
I got Working Girl. I got Paul.
I forgot
Paul, I
about
thought
Paul.
about it because I know you love Paul.
That's all I have off the top of my head. I'm sure if I sat and like.
Oh, she was in Avatar.
Yep,
Oh,
she
there you
Oh,
was.
fuck. You said that earlier. God damn it. And I had that locked and loaded in the back of my brain. Like, I'm going to do that one.
She was in Dave. You guys remember
Oh, I
Dave?
love
She was
Yeah,
in the
Dave.
Village.
The Ice
The
Storm.
Village. Yeah. Good call.
The guy.
Gorillas in the Mist.
Yeah, that was another one. Yeah.
See? Yeah.
Um,
I'm a bad
Vantage Point.
person.
Be Kind Rewind. Wally.
Chappie.
Chappie.
I'm Chappie. Red, red lights. Oh, she's
The
another.
Meyerowitz stories.
The Cabin in the Woods.
Shit.
Yeah, you fucked this one up, Ben.
I
But
did.
so did I. So
Yeah.
I just couldn't think of
I
it.
really.
Wally.
I nailed it though. I nailed it.
Brad,
Oh, did you say
Nate
Wally?
said that
Oh.
earlier.
That was my guess.
Jeff Spanke, thank you so much for taking like literally 7 hours out of your night hanging out with us. We really do appreciate you. Thank you. Do you have anything that you want to say? Any plugs you want to give? Any businesses you want to support? People need to use their turn signal. What do you got, buddy?
We haven't done this in a
No,
while.
this was a blast. I just think we should support the Nabla strawberry chunks and juice or whatever their
Yep.
sponsor is tonight.
I love that.
Did you say Mobla?
Which I thought was like he said Nambla. I'm like wait, like the whole time.
We wasted that episode.
the whole
That's
time.
what I thought. I'm like, well, this took a turn.
He literally said, by the way, Leave No Trace was directed by a woman, and maybe that colored your view of the film. Also, support Nambla.
So
Well, this one goes into the vault.
Hey, man. But sincerely, thank you so much for taking the time to work
You're
through our
so much better than Brad.
Stupid audio issues early on. Thank you, man. Thanks for being here.
Oh, anytime, guys. I mean, I'd love to come back. So just
now that we know this works, we'll definitely have
honestly
you on more.
first remote guest.
This is the first time we've ever done a podcast where we weren't remote, but one person was.
Awesome.
Yeah,
and it worked out okay. Like we
now
actually
we got it. I think
the audio's fine. So thanks, Jeff. I really do appreciate it, buddy. Nate, Brad, where can the people find you?
Find us at the 10 to 1 podcast because we start a new podcast based on SNL this week. We'll be recording
a new season of the podcast.
Season. And so if you like what we do here, you'll like that on probably.
Slashfilm.com at Ethan_Anderton. Check out Slashfilm Daily Podcast and just keep up with all of our bullshit.
5 stars if you please. Rate and subscribe to the podcast. Download it, guys. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're already here. Just tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
Come on.
You're having a good time.
Yeah.
You're killing me.
Jeff, did you have a good time?
Had a great time.
I'm like, oh, Jeff's already gone.
I did look down at the screen. It's black. He's gone. Anyway, thanks again. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Nah, cheating, eh?